Watching TV has changed over time. Streaming has become the new norm. That's why Golden State Media Concepts television podcast dives headfirst to the world of cord cutting. Want to be on the loop of what's hot in Netflix? Or if it's not a preference, what about original shows in Hulu? We've got you covered. Join us as we fill in the blanks and talk about movies to stream and what show you should be binging. This is the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast. We have got a show for you today. We're going to be talking to you guys a little bit about Squirrel Girl, Luke Cage coming to Netflix,
which I'm excited
and
about,
a little bit more from the night of.
Oh yeah, finally, it's over. The night of finale has passed.
Well, that's great.
I tried to make that work. It didn't sound as good as I thought it would in my head.
No, it didn't.
I tried to make it work. I thought it was going to be a little clever, you know? But then when I kind of messed up and then I tried to say it again, it was just gone.
So Pauline and I talked a little bit about Squirrel Girl before. And so what Squirrel Girl is it is an unlikely Marvel superhero who might be coming to the small screen. Now, before we get into this, Pauline, how has your day been?
You know, my day's been okay.
Yeah,
I was actually enjoying my day until she just...
So I thought I'd ask you how you were doing, and I try to cool you off a little bit, because a little bit before the show, we were talking a tad bit about Squirrel Girl. And
yes.
And I know that it really grinds Pauline's gears. And so instead of hearing me rant about something... You're going to get to hear Pauline rant about something.
I don't know much about Squirrel Girl. I just was introduced to her today. So, you know, you can't really make any judgments on a girl that you don't know. However,
True.
However, I was made aware through the grapevine that supposedly she beats up Wolverine and Deadpool.
Yes.
So supposedly this little, I don't think squirrels even weigh like 2 pounds, right?
Well, I think she's the size of a normal person. I don't think she is the size of a squirrel. Here,
she's an actual girl.
Yeah, she's a girl with a tail.
We'll get to that. So just forget the fact that I thought she was only 2.6 pounds. So, anyways, I'm still mad because now. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Squirrel Girl before. Fill me in. Before I start talking mess about her.
Before we start talking mess about Squirrel Girl, let me talk a little bit about
name,
Squirrel Girl.
that alone it could have been like. I guess it couldn't really be a chipmunk because we already have Alvin.
Well, you know that one of the heroes was Bumblebee, right?
And there's Ant-Man.
Yeah, so
Ant-Man bothered me too.
So though the Marvel Television and ABC Studios has not confirmed it yet, many sources are reporting that they're shopping around the idea about a half-hour comedy based on the Warriors, with Darian Green as a focal character. So the Warriors, according to the comics, let me see. There's Firestar, Justice, Night Thrasher, Nova, and Speedball, which are just a few of the characters that have been in the New Warriors. Squirrel Girl was never a member of the New Warriors, but she had a crush on the team member Speedball. Now, so here's what Squirrel Girl is.
Okay.
So, Squirrel Girl possesses squirrel-like powers, including razor-sharp claws, super agility, enhanced speed and strength, and a plushy tail.
Okay, so I will say, if a squirrel was kind of like charging me, if I was eating a sandwich on a bench and a squirrel ran up the bench towards me, I probably would throw my sandwich at it and let it have it. But that's besides the point.
Yeah, the Squirrel Girl. It's a little funny. It seems like what they're trying to do with this is they're trying to make a lighthearted, offbeat, angsty, teen kind of comedy thing with this. I don't know if it'll be live action or animated. I feel like it's better suited for animated because I don't
flop.
I don't know if I can take a girl with a tail.
That's what I'm saying. And they made her super girly. She has acorn earrings.
Oh, well, I don't have a problem with that. Girls can be superheroes too, Pauline.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But my thing is like, it just, oh God. She just, I don't know if it's just because I just saw the picture and like the picture just bothered me. Like she has like a real life squirrel like on her shoulder.
Yeah, she can control the squirrels.
Oh.
She also has a taste for nuts. I don't know if that's a superpower, but she likes acorns.
Oh my God. But all I know is that supposedly she beats up Wolverine.
Yeah, so
that's where I'm having my problem. I'm not having a problem with a girl beating up Wolverine, like a female character, but squirrel-like abilities, like really, I guess a Wolverine, like what?
So apparently in the comic book series, she is unbeatable. So she's taken down some of Marvel's major baddies such as Doctor Doom and Fin Fang Foom and Galactus. Now one of the
anything else besides a squirrel, and I would have probably been okay with this. Even a raccoon girl would have probably been a little bit better for me.
So let this be noted, like for the records, I am not the one freaking out here.
I'm really upset about this character.
This is
really
Pauline who's
bothering
upset.
me.
So
She's really bothering me.
the fact that she beats up Doctor Doom, Fin Fang Foom, and Galactus is not that big of a deal because, as I've stated in a previous episode, basically Marvel supervillains are Keatons. Like Marvel supervillains are so easy to beat up that Keatons can beat up Marvel superheroes. And I can't use the actual word I want to use for what they are, but at least,
He's
whatever.
saying kittens, by the way.
Keatons. So
Like kitty cat.
some of the heroes that she's gone up against and beaten was Deadpool, which let me remind you that Deadpool in a series went through and killed every single person in the Marvel universe in one, I think it's a standalone comic. And the Wolverine, who, just a little bit of an information about the Wolverine. The Wolverine wasn't always God, but somewhere down the line became God, because it used to be Wolverine had minor healing abilities, like, oh, I got shot, I can heal that, or oh, I got cut, I can heal that. And it's become, he can get blown up in a nuclear blast, and from the shreds of adamantium in his skeleton, he could regenerate his entire skeletal cardiovascular and muscular system. Like all the systems just come back because he's basically God now. And apparently Squirrel Girl beat him up.
Yeah, what is I just would have really appreciated something a tad bit more realistic to represent us.
Now you have to keep in mind that Squirrel Girl is not like a super serious comic book. It's like,
well, I'm taking this very seriously and I am very upset.
So
it just is so dumb. And like the picture that we saw, I was just like, what is this? It better be just like an animation so I could be like, oh, cute.
Well, it kind of reminds me of like, have you remember Teen Titans?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Teen Titans was a pretty rad TV show from our heyday. Oh, back in the day. And
back in the day,
it was based on a comic book series that I believe came out in the 80s. I could be mistaken. Now, they did a little Teen Titans thing more recently called Teen Titans Go, where they're little chibi Teen Titans, and they're like, hanging out, and it's actually kind of funny. Like when it came out, everybody around me was hissing and groaning and like, cancer, like this is terrible, this is evil. And I actually watched an episode and I thought it was pretty hilarious. Like if you've watched the show and then you go and watch Teen Titans Go, like it's pretty much like a good example of what an episode of Teen Titans was without all the seriousness. And I think that, like, honestly, and I'll hold by this till the day I die, I think that if they were to do an episode of Teen Titans, like a rerun of Teen Titans, and then run Teen Titans Go right after it, that would be a perfect combination, because then you got to watch the show in all its seriousness, which people would love to do, and people love to go back and rewatch these things, and then watch an episode of this little comedy bit that's making fun of the show itself. And I feel like that would also give younger audiences more of a reference as to where the Teen Titans Go even came from. Because I know one of the problems a lot of people have with it is, oh, they don't even know the original.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, well, you don't know the original because you didn't read the 1980s comics. So the New Warriors is an idea that they're shopping around. It's not going to be like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's going to be comedy, lighthearted. And actually, it's funny because Pitch Perfect's Anna Kendrick said that she would want to play Squirrel Girl, stating, and I quote, "My brother sent me a Squirrel Girl comic because he thinks I should play her. Okay, I don't know what Squirrel Girl does other than be half squirrel, but I could be
None of us know what Squirrel Girl does. None of us. So apparently she just goes around beating up tough guys with her sharp teeth.
Judging by your acting reel and talents, I think you could be Squirrel Girl."
Yeah, that just bothers me. Oh, no, they have to.
So apparently also one of the things that's important to note
Really
about
upset
Squirrel Girl,
about
besides the fact that she had a crush on Speedball, scandalous, from the New Warriors, she also was apparently the nanny of Jessica Jones and Luke Cage's baby. Danielle?
Baby D. We'll just say baby.
Yeah, Danielle, I think is what it is. I think it's Danielle or Daniela. And so in the New Warrior, I'm really bad with names, guys. I really apologize. I'm sure you've seen that. So, let's see. Apparently, the New Warriors were actually part of the cause of the disaster that caused the Civil War in the Civil War storyline, which is interesting to note because that's not how it went in the Marvel movies. But different timelines and whatnot. So it looks like we're coming up on a break. And do you have anything else you want to say about Squirrel Girl, Pauline? Just get it out.
Do I? I just don't get it. It just really bothers me. It just bothers me.
Like what is it about Squirrel Girl that really bothers you?
She's not ferocious. And then they're going to tell me that she's beating up ferocious characters? No. I don't see it.
Maybe
the Wolverine, I think it's because I love the Wolverine. That kind of touched a nerve.
Okay.
Like kind of touched a nerve.
Well,
Because
I mean,
really? How is she? How?
Have you ever been attacked by a squirrel before?
That's what I'm saying. Like, honestly, I would give it my food and I would definitely take off. However, I think if you were to put a real life Wolverine and a real life squirrel in a cage, I do not think that my squirrel-like abilities would stand a chance against a real life Wolverine. It might not even stand a chance against a raccoon or my Yorkshire Terrier dog. Like, honestly, my dog will probably be like, what the heck is this? What's going on? Why have you betrayed me, master? But it's squirrel.
Spider-Man beat up the rhino, and Spider-Man's a spider, and the rhino is a rhino, right?
But Spider-Man's a tad bit I think also because of the picture that they had of her, like it looked like something my niece would draw because like it would be just like cute and fluffy, and so that bothered me also, and the fact that she had acorn earrings and like they're like huge acorn earrings, like they're not even like, kind of like they're just not. Oh no. And then she had that little tiny squirrel on her shoulder. Like, what is that going on? Is that like her sidekick, her conscience? Like, I don't get what that little squirrel does. That whole picture. And there was just too much pink. Like, pink's my favorite color. And pink can be kind of, like aggressive. You can have like a female character who wears pink and she can be pretty bad. Like, that's cool. The picture that they're using right now is just too, like you said, fluffy tail. Like, why is the tail so big? Like, the tail on the picture is so big. Like, I know squirrels have big tails. I know this.
I love how like, all of your like things that you hate about Squirrel Girl comes from one picture.
I just don't see how this is good. Like, this is something that I'm actually going to watch because I need to know what this girl is all about.
What if I bought you like the Squirrel Girl comic book?
I will read them and I will try to comprehend what this character is and what she is doing. And why they have to make her look so fluffy. Like, she just looks like too fluffy. She doesn't look like she's like strong enough to beat the Wolverine. Like,
okay, man, like we need more female characters in the Marvel universe.
We
need
do,
more movies and
but they're not going to. They have them like this, and they're not even like cool.
I feel like this really appeals to younger audiences as well as like a lot of like antisocial people. Like, because like squirrels.
She doesn't even look cool though. She's not a cool looking squirrel.
I don't know. Like, I don't think she looks that bad.
Shay. She looks cuddly.
She does.
That's not going to work. No girl wants to be a superhero and be told, you're cute. And then supposedly also be told she whooped Wolverine. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It does not work. They either have to appeal to My Little Pony audience or not. Like, I don't get it.
It definitely seems like the kind of thing like furries would be into. Like, it's like Furry, the comic book.
See? God,
But,
she's not even
hey, man,
bad.
what was it you said last week? To each their own.
Yeah, to each their own. But Take it to a break. Take it to a break.
We're gonna go to a break, and we're gonna go get Pauline like some water and a soda or something, so that way she can cool off. So you guys cool off, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's GSMCpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
So we are back, and it seems as though Pauline is done channeling her inner Shay. Now, since we were speaking about Marvel, we're going to speak a little bit more about Marvel and something that's going on with TV right now. Now, Marvel is just doing such a great job when it comes to TV shows. You can argue the movies all you want. I have my things about the movies here and there, but the shows that they are putting out on Netflix as these Netflix originals they're so good. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Daredevil or Jessica Jones, but you should really go out and watch Daredevil and Jessica Jones. And Daredevil season 2 was way better than the first season, and I really enjoyed the first season. Mm-hmm. Now, so the last couple of years they've been doing their shows, and it looks like they're just about to bring in Luke Cage for his own show. Yes, so this apparently is going to be really, really awesome. I'm really excited because you get to see a little bit of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. And if you know anything about the Marvel Universe, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage end up together and having a kid. But this is like the origin story of Luke Cage. And it is BA. Like, it is just awesome. And so, like, in the trailer, they show, like, you know, he just has to walk around with bullet holes in his clothes all the time because he's, like, bulletproof. And if you don't know anything about Luke Cage, like, he's super strong and bulletproof, and like, you know, that's why he's such a good he's so compatible with Jessica Jones, because Jessica Jones has very similar powers in the sense that she's super strong. And I don't think Jessica Jones is bulletproof, but so like you get to see like a moment where they're together in the Jessica Jones show, and they're like smashing each other through walls and stuff like that, and like fighting and you know, that sort of thing. So like, I don't know. You saw the trailer. What was your interpretation of it, Pauline?
See, he looked cool.
Right?
Squirrel Girl did not look cool. But we're done with her for right now until further notice.
Bring her up a little bit later,
but
maybe in the
Luke Cage did. Let's not. But Luke Cage did look really cool. I don't know too much about him either, but from what I was getting from the trailer, he kind of was almost like, I'm not sure if purposely, but was kind of turned into this. Kind of?
Yeah, no, he was turned into it against his will.
Oh, so was it like an experiment?
I think it was.
So yeah, so I'm not quite well, yeah, okay, so he wasn't like born this way, but was kind of like changed into it, and which is kind of cool. I kind of like that premise. I like that little whole, if a spider bites me, I'm now Spider-Man type thing.
Yeah.
I do like that, and so I think it's going to be a lot. It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be on Netflix, which is kind of cool. I'm liking this whole, like, I like it when shows are kind of exclusively on Netflix. I don't know. I like Netflix shows.
So one of the things that I know people are a little bit upset with is because in the trailer, it shows that, you know, like he goes into a boxing room, like a gym.
Right.
And he starts beating up on these bad guys. And then these guys pull out some guns and start shooting him. And it shows that, you know, bullets have no effect on him. So a lot of people are worried that, you know, the fact that he's invincible and unbreakable is going to make him less intriguing because, you know, Jessica Jones, if she gets shot, she dies. And then, of course, Daredevil is just a person with acute senses. Mm-hmm. So that's something that people are a little bit worried about. I'm not super worried about it because if you've ever learned anything from DC, and this is the one thing you should take away from DC movies and the comic books, is that the villains kind of run the show in DC. And I feel like with Luke Cage, it's a very similar situation. Like, So Luke Cage takes place in Harlem, I believe. And so it shows also the antagonist who's kind of a gangster in the area. And it seems like Luke Cage is going to be going after this gangster. And I'm really excited because one of the things that I've harped on Marvel about before is how like uncultural Marvel can be at times. Like Marvel, unfortunately, especially with the movies, is very whitewashed. And I'm really glad that we're going to get to see a strong black superhero. Like, this is going to be great. Like, he's not only strong and African American, but he is also like a bad MFer, if you want to say. Like, he is a hardcore hero to the max. And usually, you know, when you get heroes that are like super powerful and stuff, like, they're usually white. And like, I mean, what is it, like Hawk, like the Hawk or something like that, like the Red Hawk or something, like from Marvel? He's not that cool. Luke Cage is that cool.
Right.
And so I'm really excited to see this, especially with how Daredevil and Jessica Jones is, and just, it's a real treat that Marvel's putting these things out in shows, especially some of their lower superheroes. Like, we don't necessarily need a movie about Daredevil. We don't necessarily need a movie about Jessica Jones or Luke Cage. But the fact that we're getting shows about them, honestly, they're becoming better developed characters than a lot of the Marvel movie characters are. And it's great. It's great to see this like world where superheroes could be possible. And I think Marvel is killing it as far as that goes. I'm very excited for Luke Cage. I think we should all be excited for Luke Cage. And it looks like they're dropping this time bomb on Netflix on September 30th, 2016. I'm marking it on my calendar. When this comes out, I'm probably, you're not going to see me for a couple days, Pauline. I'm probably going to be watching it. This looks really exciting to me. And so we are about to come up on another break. And when we get back, Pauline's going to talk to us a little bit about The Night Of. We mentioned it in a previous episode.
But now the series is over, and I'm just going to be a sourpuss today. Like, I'm just not happy with anything today. I'm really not. I'm disappointed in The Night Of. So we're going to discuss my disappointment. You guys are all probably disappointed. And if you're not, I mean, I'm going to talk about both sides, I guess.
So just a note, there will be spoilers coming up.
Not too much, though. Not too much. I promise. I promise not too much. Because I don't want to, ruin it for anybody. But I also have some things to say. So
okay. Well, when
I'm
we
sassy
get back,
today.
Pauline is going to continue her sass. So stick around for some sass. We'll catch you in a bit.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
And welcome back. So right before the break, I told you guys that I'm a tad bit about The Night Of, which when we spoke about it the first time, I think it was like 2 episodes ago, I was really enjoying it. And I think I was only like 2 or 3 episodes in, and I was very excited. And the series most recently just ended this past weekend, and so it was only an 8-part series. And so as of right now, we're considering it over. But based upon the season finale, there may be some room for another season, which if they do, they better not end the second season the way they ended the first season, because I was looking forward to what was going to happen. And I'm going to try very, very hard not to spoil it too much and to give too much away, because I want everybody to like kind of watch it. And it's been, I didn't get to finish watching this until Tuesday, and it aired Sunday, so I was a little bit behind. But
aliens, right?
Aliens honestly would have been better than what they did to us, because they build up, and you're not quite sure. And like the problem is, it's like they don't really dig too deep into any of the characters, which I mean, I guess you really can't, because like it's only 8 episodes, and so you can't get too in depth with each character. But then one of the characters, his lawyer, I think her name is Chandra, like she does something, and I'm like, really?
Yeah,
she's too smart for that. Like, like some of the characters that they had do things, I was just like, I don't think, like, it didn't seem like they made the character seem one way, and then now she's doing this, and it's like, really?
Oh man, I hate it when they do that.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's not really realistic. Like, I'm sure it does happen sometimes, but I was like, the way that they made this character seem, his lawyer, I was like, she would not do that. Like, no. And then I was trying to see, like, oh, are they trying to like humanize her? But I was like, no. This is not how you do that. They should have had a different character do that. And then they like focus a lot on, like, because remember, I think I mentioned that I thought something was happening with the cat.
Yeah.
Now the cat, I think, in my opinion, is just a cat. After watching the entire, like, the series in its entirety, I think that was really just to like make people think that the cat was like important, but it's really not. It's just a cat. I feel like
at least it's not a squirrel.
It's even a cat would beat a squirrel, I think. Anyways. So basically, the season finale, everybody's anticipating, because that's when he's in trial, and we are going to find out, is he going to get convicted? And we still don't really know. Like, they do a really good job of making the audience, because like you sympathize and you feel for him, because they make him a really, a character that draws a lot of sympathy from you. But then you find out things about him, or things like he starts doing things where you're like, okay, maybe he's not so innocent. Maybe that good guy side of him isn't, really who he is, And so you really wonder, is he going to get convicted or not? And you're not sure if you'll feel bad for him if he does, because you're like, maybe he did kind of do this, like, you're not quite sure. And then he kind of like settles into jail life, and you're like, well, I mean, if he stays there, it seems like he'll be okay.
Right.
It's not ideal to stay in jail, but
no,
he's making friends. They're kind of like, and then, so that's why you kind of lose sympathy for him, because you're like, maybe he is kind of like rough around. Maybe he does have a rough side, because he's able to so easily blend in. But then I was like, okay, maybe that's not the point of this story. Maybe the point of the story of this series is to show that we shouldn't stick kids in Rikers Island because then he starts changing. He starts conforming to the environment of Rikers Island, rightfully so, because he's trying to survive. And so I was like, okay, maybe that's the lesson behind this. But I was like, really? 8 episodes of suspense to tell us we're not supposed to stick little kids in Rikers Island? We already know that, but we're still going to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just that's just how it is. And I was just like, so are you chastising society, or are you just I don't know. I was really upset on how it ended.
Kind of reminds me of when you make a movie about colonialism and it's sci-fi.
Yeah.
And you're trying to say sorry in a 3-hour film.
Yeah. And it's
like that kind of thing, right?
Right. And I'm like, I'm just puzzled. And I think they did a good job. Like, they did a pretty good job of, and again, it was only 8 episodes. And so you can't get too in depth until, I guess, if they continue like with another series, like another,
because like 8 episodes is a bit of a commitment, like if you like any number of episodes more than 4, you're kind of committed, you know what I mean?
No, yeah, yeah. But then I was just like, maybe this person, because like nobody really to me was necessarily good or bad.
Well, and what's kind of cool about that is that's kind of how life is, right? Like
True.
Nobody is good or bad.
And I did like that part. And then they had his lawyer do something, and I was just like, she would not do that. Like, she just came across as too, not goody good, but just too, like, she's a defense lawyer.
Right.
She's not going to commit a crime like to that magnitude, at least.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was just like, she's too smart and too focused, like she is just too driven to make that kind of a thing, like that act. I felt like
right.
Maybe hire somebody to do the act, perhaps, but not do it herself, you
Right,
know?
right.
And then one thing that I did like, though, is that her mentor, who's also another woman, kind of just like shuts her down pretty hard. And it's like, we're so used to seeing like males doing that, you know, but then like a female character turning down another, like, you know, just like shutting her completely down and kind of embarrassing her.
That's great.
You know, I was just like, ooh, yeah, because I was like, that's what you get, girl. Like, you should have done that. You're stupid. Like, or, you know, you're not smart right now. That was not a smart thing to do.
I think you can say stupid on the air.
Well, I mean, she was pretty stupid. So dumb. But anyway, so, I mean, it just, the climax of the series wasn't as climactic as I was hoping it would be. So basically, I mean, you're going to have to watch it yourself and tell me how you feel. It just kind of like left us hanging, but not in a good way. Not in a way to where you're like, oh, there's possibly going to be a season 2. It was kind of like, really? I'm over this. Like, I did not just invest, you know, all these weeks into watching this.
So Pauline, are you like a big fan of court dramas?
I am.
That sort of thing?
I do.
Have you ever seen
I do
12
like
Angry
it.
Men?
Ooh, no.
You should go check out 12 Angry Men.
Okay.
If you really want a good movie,
Right.
that is like probably the best court movie I've ever seen. It's up there. Like, this movie takes place in one room for the entire movie, and it is probably one of the best movies like ever made. If you haven't seen it, and an audience, if you haven't seen it, you should really go check it out.
Right.
Especially if you enjoyed The Night Of. You should check out the original court drama.
Yeah, The Night Of
12
was just...
Angry Men. I'm pretty sure you can find 12 Angry Men like on YouTube for free. Like, it might be public domain at this point. I'm not sure.
Right. I'm just what? And we're
go
taking
ahead,
into
go
a
ahead.
break?
No.
Are we ending?
Well, yeah, like we're pretty close.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what The Night Of did to us. They were just like, oh, we're running out of time. This is the end. Done.
That's how you feel?
That's how I feel.
Oh, man.
They didn't expand on anything. Then they just introduce a whole nother suspect, just plop him down, and we're just like, oh, wait, is he the killer? And then we're like, oh, shoot. And then it's just like, it just kind of bothered me.
Yeah, so go check out 12 Angry Men, and you'll be satisfied, and
I'm
it'll
hoping.
probably blow that all over.
Because, like, I'm okay with, like, you know, people, oh, well, I almost gave a spoiler. But, you know, I don't know. I don't think that the ending, like, it's like when we were watching it, I was watching it with my family, and then my mom and I kind of looked at each other, and I was like, so that's it? That's what the ending to this is? And I was just like, there was, like, you know, maybe perhaps there wasn't enough, like, drama for me. Not enough death, drama, and craziness for what I was expecting. It just was too pleasant.
Too pleasant.
I don't like pleasantries.
I
make it a bad. I just in like one of those moods today. I just didn't want fairy tale. This is not supposed to be a fairy tale. It's not supposed to be a fairy tale. It's supposed to be a murder drama.
All right, and that's all the time we have for this show, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry that you guys just brought out. Shay just wanted to bring out the craziness in me today.
Oh, it's so great because I get to be in the neutral. Okay,
like, Pauline's
chair.
Calm down.
and then Pauline gets to be the aggressor. This is great. So that is all the time we've had for today. Pauline, why don't you tell them where they can find us?
So you can definitely find us on our network website, gsmcpodcast.com, as well as on Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, my favorite, iTunes. Well, actually, any of them are my favorite. It's fine. Whatever you prefer is great. And yeah, this has been the GSMC Television Podcast. I'm Pauline. And watch out for squirrels. And don't steal cabs. Bye.